You know what? I might actually watch these because these weren't bad.
Hello, everyone.
Oh my fucking god. What in the hell was that?
Hello, everyone. This is Running on Empty Food Review. Well, hello, ladies, gentlemen, and everyone watching. Welcome, one and all, to this newest edition of the Running on Empty Food Review series.
Christ.
I'm your host, the report of the week.
Honestly, these things aren't bad.
It looks like it has a nice...
They are a bit expensive for what they are, but the best thing about them is you can throw those bitches in the microwave for like 30 seconds and they're good as fuck. Like, they really are. I might watch that one. We'll skip his little fucking hello everybody. Bro, you should have heard the way he said American cheese earlier. It like caught me off guard. Instead of American, he was like American cheese. Yes, yes, the burger has American cheese and it is smashed with salt and pepper and American cheese. Like, what the fuck?
One and all, to this newest edition of the Running on Empty Food Review series. I'm your host.
Am I the only one? Like, I don't know if you guys had these tacos right here. It's just caught my eye. It goes for the same for any hard shell taco. Just Taco Bell in particular, right? Their meat, the meat they use is like, and it's not bad. I don't give a fuck if it's like 40% beef, 60% sawdust. I don't give a shit. Like, I'll eat it. I eat a taco. I eat meat and cheese with some lettuce, tomato, sour cream. I eat the fuck out of it. Taco Bell. I don't care. But like, the meat is a bit on the wet side, right? So unless you get that hard shell taco and eat it immediately, 9 times out of 10, the fucking meat just literally like melts through the bottom of the shell, just soggies it all up and falls through. So why don't they put the fucking like lettuce first, then like the sour cream, and then the meat? You know, anybody ever think of that?
The report.
Anybody ever think of that?
Great to have you here. I want to get right down to business. Little Caesars
Something tells me it's going to take him a while before he gets down to business.
Has released a new side. Now, Little Caesars, they're a chain that at least I regard as they release items pretty consistently, but the quality thereof is all over the place at this point.
I will agree with him there. As I was hitting that out, this hand motion was going through my head. Cause like you'll go to, and this might sound crazy, but you'll go to Little Caesars, and man, cause they like bake their wings. Like if you get somebody who cooked their wings right in the oven and got just enough sauce on it, Little Caesars wings can be fire as fuck. But then you'll go sometimes and they're like barely cooked. Like they're cooked, but the skin and the fat hasn't rendered. There's no crispiness to it. It's all like stretchy and gooey. It's fucking, they just like filled the container full of sauce. It's like floating in sauce and shit. So completely agree with him that like, one minute they'll release like some type of new crazy pizza, you'll go get it, and it's legitimately like if you eat it hot, Little Caesars pizza is as good as anybody's, dude. Now if you let that shit get room temperature, try to heat it up and eat it the next day, you know, but like fresh Little Caesars pizza, fucking spice pack on it, that's poor man's delicacy.
And as far as Little Caesars goes, the way that I look at it, you could get an item from them and it's either going to blow you away by just how good it is, or it's going to be so bad that at the very least you'll look at the price and you'll be thankful that at least not too much money was wasted on it. That's usually how it goes. It's either really good or really bad, but the price for the most part of many Little Caesars releases is pretty fair, all things considered.
I will stop there and say that I do like these. I think everybody should try them, but in my opinion, comparative to like a fucking, I think it's like $6 for a hot and ready now or some shit. The value you get from just getting the fucking pizza compared to like the $3.49 or $4.50 or something for the 4 puffs, whatever they are. If you're talking bang for your buck, you could probably get some crazy bread combo with like a fucking large pepperoni pizza, crazy bread, and a 2-liter for like $3 more than you could get those 4 little fucking pizza pops.
Bring any beds.
The latest release, and I can't say greatest because I haven't tried it yet, is a new side from Little Caesars A couple days ago, they premiered the
Five,
Crazy Puffs.
4,
And
3,
again, you'll see pretty
1.
quickly that they're
Round
small. I
1.
regard them mostly
Capture
as being
the
a
objective.
They are very small. Yay big around. Maybe an inch and a half across, something like that.
side. And here's what they are. They describe them as being pizza puffs.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, as you'll see in a moment, it's like a little, almost a bowl-shaped.
They get the dough, and it's, you know, it's, imagine like a cup. It's like almost like a cupcake, right? But instead of it being like a cupcake, as in it's like a piece of full cake, it's more of just like the dough they make a little like cone out of, and then they fill it full of like cheese sauce, seasoning, and then put like more cheese and then a fucking like pepperoni on top of it. So it's just,
Concoction that's composed of the pizza dough. It's puffy, and it's like a pit. And then on the inside, it's
just
packed
like a
with
little-
mozzarella
yeah.
cheese, pepperoni.
like, I'm sorry, brother, you literally got to write this shit down and read it. You can't literally just say, these are Little Caesar pizza puffs, or, you know, Little Caesar crazy puffs. My bad. These are Little Caesar crazy puffs, and they're made with dough that they make into a little cup, and then they fill that cup with mozzarella cheese, homemade tomato sauce, cheese, and pepperoni with their secret Italian herbs and seasoning. You know what I mean? Like, motherfucker has to literally like mozzarella cheese, tomato sauce, pizza dough.
Pizza.
I hope you're memeing, motherfucker. You're
Covered with
pissing me
cheese.
off.
And then it has a buttery garlic drizzle and Italian herb and Parmesan seasoning atop. So it's supposed to be a little something that it's supposed to be puffy. It's supposed to have that garlicky butter to it. And then you bite
One
in,
second.
and stuffed inside of it is the cheese, the sauce.
Should be able to
and,
do it,
in
but
this case, the most
there you go
popular one
anyway.
is with pepperoni, but they
Yeah,
do
I was
have
gonna
a
say,
variety
it should
where
work without
instead
it.
Of pepperoni, there is a 3-cheese blend. But the most requests I've seen is for the pepperoni one. That
Oh, the
seems to be
pepperoni
that
one
they
just
really
gives that bit of
advertise
fucking
it.
like, let's be real, man. There's just something about the fat, grease, oils, whatever you want to call it, in meats that just adds something, like, even aside from the meat itself. It's like why people put like ham in fucking soup beans and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like there's just some weird essence or something that gives it that's just like unique. So like having even one pepperoni on some shit like that can just change the entire, like,
dangerous.
head to toe. The taste profile can be altered with just a single pepperoni. You know, like, it's as silly as that sounds, it's actually kind of true. Like, because I got some with the cheese, which were fantastic, and I got some with the pepperoni. Hey, it's just that fucking man, I'm telling you.
That's the one. that I
God
got.
damn it, somebody left.
They come in a
Motherfucker.
4-piece, and for 4 of them, the price is around
Shit.
$4.81. So not quite $5 for 4 of them, though I'm sure the price will fluctuate. But again, around $4.80 for about a 4-piece.
Yeah, I don't know where he lives, but for me, I think they were like about right at about $4 to $4.50, something like that.
Come in their own little box, special
They do.
branding.
They do. And they have those little seals on them as well. Can confirm. Can confirm.
Crazy Puffs, Little Caesars.
But yeah, like,
Doesn't have much.
the
to
best
say
part about
them.
those is like fresh, they're good as fuck, and then like you can literally leave them out and throw them in the microwave for like 20-30 seconds. So fucking good.
The box, just the fact that once again they are Crazy Puffs. And then opening up,
Crazy Puffs.
there they are.
Those are
And
the
you'll get an
cheese
even
ones.
better understanding of them.
But you were saying, you see what I was talking about, the seasoning. Like, a lot of people, like, I don't know if they still have these. Little Caesars used to have spice packs, and god damn, bro, you could literally put a spice pack on a turd of dog shit, and you couldn't stop eating it. Like, it's just
Hold
so
them up,
good.
but you could see already.
It's like, I don't need. It's like salt, pepper, some different Italian herbs and stuff. Like, oh, bro,
I could already smell the garlic.
yeah.
And this is what I'm talking about now. This, I think, gets... Because I wasn't sure how sound or solid, perhaps, my description was, so...
Yeah, they literally, like, if you imagine, like, a cupcake pan, like, essentially you just get a fucking cupcake pan, and instead of, like, cake dough, you put fucking... Or cake mix, you put dough in there, and you just form the dough to the fucking cake pan. It's not like... It's not some, like, oh my god, we've got new food bowl technology.
This is an instance where...
It's a bowl, but it's edible, and it's got cheese. Like, what the fuck?
Tells 1,000 words. So you have the exterior, which is composed of their dough. It's puffy. But then on the inside,
And
it's like carved
it's
out.
fucking crazy.
And stuffed inside is cheese.
Oh, bro, yeah. If you've not had them and you got, like I said, like $5, if you got $10, I'd recommend getting the cheese and the pepperoni. Just like, cause like I said, they heat up really well, and like even my fat ass couldn't eat all. I mean, if I wanted to sit down and like force it, I 100% could have. But even I didn't eat more than like 2 or 3 at a time. You know.
Pepperoni in this case. And then on top again is that garlic.
Oh, I guess maybe that is the pepperoni one. I guess maybe you could see like a little piece of it right there.
Seasoning.
When I had the pepperoni one, there was like a pepperoni on the inside and there was a pepperoni on like up on top. Like you could fucking see it. Like this looked like the cheese ones to me. But yeah, they're the bomb, bro. They're really fucking good, dude. I hope you got some good ones, because they really are. They're really, really, really fucking good.
It's going to be pretty good, or it's going to be like all raw on the inside, and I really hope that's not the case. It looks like it has a nice bake to it, so I'm cautiously optimistic here.
Humanity is shackled.
As long as there really is, like, there's no
will find
dipping
the key.
sauce, and it's going to be interesting to see if there's really any need for it, because it seems to me like
There wasn't for me. It's pretty saucy.
the sort of item that you would think would have a dipping sauce with it. And I almost dropped it. That would have been disastrous if that happened. But disaster was averted. But nonetheless, be interesting to see how it all ends up being. So let's try him out.
You know, I'm actually curious after seeing him bite that cheeseburger. I'm curious to see, because like with these, you legit like, you got to get like crust and center part. You know what I mean? Like you can't just be nibbling on the fucking crust and be like, oh, it's dry. There's no sauce in here. He's like a fucking poor man's Christopher Walken. How about you get a fucking kill, brother?
Crazy puffs from Little Caesars. Going in.
Going in. You know, hey, compared to the bites from the burger we saw earlier, he fucking went in on that bitch. Now, I will say, depending on who you are, you might find that because the cheese, as you can see, is meant to have that crispiness. So with like the firmness of the baked dough and then that hardness of the cheese, some people may say the exterior might be a little too hard. I didn't mind it.
I wanted to pause the camera just while I ate this time around, because I just wanted to get right into the review. I just wanted this to be a pretty quick and,
Pretty quick. It's a fucking 12-minute one. Motherfuck, bro. Ah!
And rather straightforward review. So, here's the cross-section. And
The ones I got had a bit more sauce in it.
I think you'll find this interesting, you know, to see what's sort of inside of it.
But like the ones I had was like, it was like the dough, sauce, pepperoni, cheese, sauce, a little bit of cheese, and there was a pepperoni on top, and then it had the herbs and shit all over.
You can see that the I was gonna say tomato for some reason. You know, there is tomato sauce, but see that right there is the pepperoni. Right there. Now that is some of the sauce, though. That is some of the pizza sauce. And then you can see the cheese mixed throughout. So you can see that it is loaded with all this stuff. And then at the bottom there, that is the, that's like the dough, the base, the sort of
It's
shell.
like the dough.
And then again, stuffed inside is that blend of the cheese, the sauce, and the pepperoni. And there's a good amount of all of that when I tried this out. Sometimes, what I've noticed with the sorts of establishments that do these sort of stuffed items is that you'll get the ad, or you'll see the ad, I should say,
It's
and
just
it'll give the implication that it's just going to be.
it's Little Caesars pizza crazy puffs. It's just pizza dough in like a fucking cupcake pan baking sheet, you know, and then you just put like sauce, pepperoni, cheese, fucking seasoning. It's pretty much it.
Be absolutely loaded with all sorts of toppings and cheese and the sauce and all of that, and then you bite in and it's mostly air, right? And there's practically nothing in there. So I will say first and foremost that despite the smaller size of these, you know, it might look pretty unassuming. You might go in there,
They're actually not that small. Like, I mean, if you had, like, I've got okay size hands. Like, it's like a circle, like the size of the palm of my hand right here. You know, like you could literally put one on my hand. It'd be about yay tall and about that big around. They're not that small. But I do feel as though you get more bang for the buck with just like you get more dough, more cheese, more sauce, more pepperoni, more everything with just getting the fucking pizza, you know. Still good
small.
though. I like them a lot.
How much can there really be in there, right? You know, there's more and more places that cut corners, but I was pleasantly surprised. There were several pieces of pepperoni on the inside. It's really like just a bite of essentially their pizza.
No shit.
Loaded inside of this.
You really gotta say that?
This baked shell, essentially. That's pretty much what it is. And then that leads me, of course, because the quantity of everything that's in there that I'm trying to say is sufficient. And I would say that it is loaded with a good amount of toppings. But then, of course, the most important question is, okay, well, it's good, right? It's good and all that. It has a good amount of everything on the inside. But what does that even matter if it doesn't taste good, right? Why bother then? So, the thing that I find most analogous as far as how this tastes is just the pizza. Because you think about it, the flavor profile is almost going to be almost identical. Has the same base.
The main difference is they are able to have that like charred crust around the sides, so technically every bite you'll get like a charred piece of cheese or whatever. They have I guess they could like focus and more concentrate like that Italian herb seasoning shit they have
as their pizza. Essentially, I'm talking about like their for the most part, not really their hot and ready. It reminds me more of their deep dish pizza, especially with the base, just the sort of.
Well, it also has the crust, that baked cheese on top of the crust is also something they very specifically go for with the deep dish pizza. I mean, it's essentially like that's literally what it is. It's more than a like tossed crust or whatever, or like a thin crust. It is a deep dish like that's literally what it is.
I don't think our methodologies are very
It's very oily. Come now, doctor. Has this little lightness.
I was only hoping to.
Well, it's oily, but it's like it's the grease from the pepperoni and then the moisture from the cheese and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if it didn't have that moisture from the pepperoni and then from the cheese and the sauce, bro, it'd be drier than a motherfucker. It'd be literally like you'd be like eating fucking.
The dough is concerned. And then it has the same cheese, the same sauce, the same pepperoni, and
then this video right here, we finally know why Little Caesars is so cheap. The reason Little Caesars is so cheap, and I'm pretty sure this is with maybe not the locations and gas stations, but every Little Caesars I've known of makes their own fucking dough like in-house every fucking day. So they don't have like Papa John's makes their own dough, but they have like headquarters, like dough factories in places, and then they like freeze and ship that out to their own location. So it's their fresh made dough, but they then freeze it and ship it across the country. Well, Little Caesars actually pays a motherfucker with a big ass mixer to make their fucking dough, and they like knead it and shit for the day every fucking day. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. Like, I knew a dude who used to write rap music and make dough at Little Caesars, and like that motherfucker would like walk to work at like, you know, start walking at work at like 4 in the morning to get there to make pizza dough.
And the only difference is that it is topped with that garlic, Parmesan, Italian herb blend. But all things considered, it tastes very similar to like how, for the most part, I would say their deep dish pizza is. Where again, you taste the cheese, it has that robust sauce, which I always like from Little Caesars. I am a fan, I am a proponent of their sauce. And I'm also happy to say that there is a good amount of the sauce
I'll say it, man. I don't give a shit what anybody says. Fresh, right up out the oven, Little Caesars. Like, even without a spice pack, it's just no frills, no fucking crazy. That's what pizza is. Like a decent sauce, you know, dough made with like flour and fucking water and a bit of jizz, you know, like.
Inside each of these cups. Because otherwise I was worried, as is sometimes the case, especially knowing Little Caesars, that a lot of their items can be very greasy, very oily, and sometimes that could just get too much. It could be to excess. So the thing that I always am a fan of, and I know I say this with every review, but it continues to hold true, the very robust, flavorful tomato sauce really helps moderate everything out, and it really does a nice job with some balance, and it's most welcome. So, it's pretty pleasant for what it is. The pepperoni does have a little bit of like a spicy note. It's salty though, don't get me wrong. It's salty, it's oily. Yeah. You could definitely taste also that butter on the top and the garlic as well. The only criticism, because for the most part I would say that it actually is pretty pleasant.
I'm curious if he's gonna say the exterior of the crust was a little hard and like difficult to eat. I'm curious if that's what he'll say.
Tasting. And if you're familiar again with what their deep dish pizza tastes like, you just add the garlic and the butter note to it, and it's very similar to that. So if you're a Little Caesars regular, then essentially with that comparison, you already know what to expect. And the flavors are all inoffensive. I like the addition of the sauce. There's a good amount of everything. They're actually more filling than, again, you might think, based on the smaller size, and there's 4 of them. So factoring that in, I would say it's actually a pretty decent deal. But the only thing to take note of, and I don't even say this as an overt criticism, I say it more or less as just something to be aware of, and this is purely going to depend on your preferences and how you like things. So here's what I mean. If you like all the toppings having a bake to them, and you only like the pepperoni when, you know, it's crisp and has a bake to it, right? And you only like the cheese when it is just totally and fully melted, and that is the only way you'll get things, then this might not necessarily be for you. Because obviously, when especially some of the cheese and the...
Well, I mean, for me, it's like, have you ever had a calzone, a stromboli, a fucking hot pocket? Of course, meat inside a pastry with sauce and fucking cheese. Is it gonna get crisped the same as one that's on the top of a fucking pizza with a goddamn broiler blasting it or an oven blasting it at however many hundreds of degrees? Like, I mean, do we really need to fucking say that aloud, people? Like, are people so fucking stupid and dim-witted that they act, I made this hot pocket in the microwave and this pepperoni isn't crispy? Like, well, no shit. It's literally being cooked in a goddamn thing of sauce, bro. Like, for it to get crispy, all the sauce would have to be fucked off, and then everything else around it would be burnt to a crisp, and not in a good way.
Pepperoni is cooked inside. You know, you think of it more analogous to, again, like a sort of calzone in a sense, where everything on the inside is obviously cooked. It's warm, nothing was raw, I'm pleased to say. However, again, you'll just notice that texturally, you know, the pepperoni, while cooked, of course there's not going to be any sort of bake to it. There's not going to be any sort of crisp to it either. You know, I would say it's more akin to, not quite, but sort of like a deli meat of sorts, and not some sort of ultra crispy you know, crunchy
5,
pepperoni
4,
that you would find
3,
on top of a
2,
pizza.
1.
Sometimes I think, does that even really need to be said? But I wanted to mention that anyway.
No, it doesn't. And if you're a fucking idiot that needs to be told that, then you're the problem with the world. That might be harsh, but like, holy shit.
You know, just so that you're aware of that. But despite all of that, everything is still, of course, cooked on the inside. I think it tastes fine for what it is. And if you're still looking for that more crunchy texture, it's still going to be there because, again, the outside has a nice bake to it. So you're still going to be biting in, and yeah, things on the inside are going to be a little soft, but you still have, especially toward the top, that ring of the cheese that still has a real nice bake to it. But all in all, for what it is, not bad. It's a side. It's pretty inoffensive, I would say. I think Little Caesars did a fine job with it, and I do like that garlic butter addition. It's flavorful, it complements it nicely, and all in all, it tastes good. You know, no sort of brand new flavor that says, wow, I've never tasted this combination from Little Caesars before, or anything like that, but it's a pleasant side, and that's really what I could say. They're easy to eat, they're pretty inexpensive, they're filling, and I think they're fine for what they are. Again, $4, or 4 of them, I'm sorry, for $4.81. So therefore, out of 10, I am going to be rating
So 8.59.
Pepperoni Crazy Puffs from Little Caesars. I'm going to give it a 7.4 out of 10. You know, it's
7.4, and he gave the fucking Sonic burger an 8 something? I don't know.
It's Little Caesars. They're not absolutely perfect, but are they fine for what they are? Absolutely. I'd say so. And that's all that I have for you. Thank you for watching, and until next time, I'm your host, the Report of the Week.
Motherfucker.
Hello, everyone!
Hello, everyone.